Buddy.
Jamie.
Look at you.
I feel like we're only seeing each other on podcasts now.
Off camera, we were just talking about something, and you were one of my original openers.
I was. And we talked the last podcast, I talked about the fact that in retrospect, I was a pretty shitty opener for you.
Not comedy-wise.
Well, yes, comedy-wise, too. Well, just because I didn't do, like, when you were like, hey, help me sell merch, I was like, I'm not your indentured servant. What do you mean? Help you carry your bags? I'm not your... But yeah, I kind of am. I was your employee, and I should have done that.
How do you feel the new generation would feel about that? That's how you do.
I don't...
They wouldn't
A
do it.
Gen Z comic, if I said, hey, man, can you help me sell my merch? They'd be like either what are you paying me to do it, or just no, they wouldn't do it.
What do they think they're on tour for?
Yeah, because they're amazing. They're on tour because they're amazing, and they have no other value other than their amazingness on stage, which is something I felt when I was opening for you.
But you were. You are.
But that being said, I should have been more of a support system for you, and I was kind of just like, it's an entitled feeling that people get when they're like, okay, I'm a comic, I'm an actor, my opinion matters, but
No, I think you did help. I mean, you did a lot of things. You worked security, like no one fucked with me, and you would killed, and then you would give me a lot of creative notes.
Yeah.
And then sometimes, and I'm not scared to say this, you would have a bit, and you go, I got a bit for you. You would do it, and he goes, this is your bit. And then I would, do it, and if it worked, I'd buy it from you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's okay to say.
Yeah, and by the way, can I just say something? Thank you so much for saying that.
You're such a great writer.
I've written for so many comics, and there's one comic right now who's really blowing up, and I think just got a Netflix offer, and I've written half of her stuff, and I was like, when she got the offer, I was like, you're gonna credit me, because with you, it was your stuff that I would help curate and shape a little bit, and then once in a blue moon, I'd be like, here's a bit from whole cloth. But usually we're working just together on your material.
Yes, but let's be very clear. You know my voice amazingly. And we're also very similar.
Yeah.
Like, we're physical. We're not scared to act out. We like to do voices. We come from the same cloth.
We like to shock people a little bit.
Yeah, we're
be
like
offensive.
sweet, like altar boys, and then say something really dark. You
Yes.
know, with a little bit. We're not Tosh, but Tosh is also the same way, where he's this wonderful package that says some dark stuff.
100%.
And you're like that. And then you kind of taught me how to be like that. You're like, don't be scared to walk right up to that line, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So this is true. He would write some amazing bits, like Modesty Blanket. I believe a lot of that bit is yours.
Oh yeah, but that was your premise. And you
My
said I had
premise,
this idea,
yes.
So we
And I'm not scared to admit that, because some of my best one-liners, like Chris Spencer, just coming off stage, he goes, I did this whole joke about how I can't sing rap anymore because it's got too many N-words in it. And I did this, and it's a long story, boring, but he just says, add hums at the end, because I did it earlier, and it's one of my biggest.
Great.
It's one of my biggest laughs, and and it's just him going, just try that.
Yeah.
Like, I can't tell you how many people have given me amazing lines.
Oh, 100%.
But you've really helped shape me.
Like you had that joke, that true story joke about me getting like head in an alley from a British woman, and the wig moved. It's like one of my old.
Oh, I remember that.
Closers.
You don't want to say it's true.
Okay, maybe no, it didn't happen.
Yeah.
But a guy just said, "Oh, at the end, you said, what's wrong? A bro job is better than no job," as a tag. I loved it, and it always friggin' works when people get all uncomfortable in that moment.
Yeah.
So I'm
You've
always
given
open.
me a lot, and also like, 'cause I want to get back to it, but yeah, like I remember one time I got a BJ off somebody. Since we're talking about this, can I say that? And I was pretty sure. I was like 99% sure it was a woman, but the hands were really big. And then you added so she had Haggard the Horrible mitts, and I was like, yeah, they were kind of big. So I was like, but it was before all this stuff. So it would have been an early model.
Yeah, exactly. I wonder if that joke, would you say that joke now? Or do you feel that joke comes off as
if you do that joke
phobic?
now, people would just be like, what, that's normal now. Yeah, I mean, so you wrote for a comic. You don't want to say names. Don't worry.
I can't say names.
And what happened? Was this a contract?
No, because I'm a fucking idiot. You just want.
Why
people...
can't she write additional material provided by?
Of course she can.
Of course. Or so
will she? My experience is that people in Hollywood do not honor their word. Even if it's a written contract, they're going to try to get out of it if they can.
Why did you give her a bunch of material?
Because I think I just I saw that she had a tough time with her voice, literally and figuratively. So I wanted to kind of like, and she had no stagecraft. So I was like, hey, let me help you with stagecraft and help you up with, discovering what your voice is. And she took to my writing right away. And we were like, oh, this is great. I get to cosplay as this woman writing.
How long did you write for her?
2 years, probably.
And she got a whole hour?
I got her about a half hour at least.
You got her a half hour, but she's got a new special that's an hour.
Yeah, she has an hour, yeah. But then I just got...
No, but she's getting a film special.
She got manager, people come in, and all of a sudden I'm gone. Like a new manager. She signed with a huge agency, got a new manager, and all of a sudden I'm like iced out. And I'm like, well, what... Do I have any... And the thing is, you don't have any legal rights to writing material for something. That's just... Once you give it, you give your IP. Your IP is gone. It doesn't matter. So I can't be like... Meh. But it's another lesson I always learn in Hollywood, which is like people will only be loyal when they're legally liable to be loyal in this town. For the most part.
Do you feel that?
I think so. I think that people... I just saw this series called Lioness by Taylor Sheridan, and there's a great line where the guy says 90% of people are sheep, 5% are good, and 5% are actually evil. So a lot of the time when people, they seem like they're bad people, they're just sheep. Mm-hmm. They're just following what everyone else does. I mean, that's exactly what we experienced during COVID. Like all the social justice movements happened during COVID. A lot of people were being sheep to something that they said, hey, this is a good cause. We get to fight for the underdog. We get to, help the less privileged and the under, blah, blah, blah. And that's what created this friggin' like mass sort of hysteria of people like standing up for causes that they just found out about yesterday,
Mm-hmm. I hope I'm in the 5%.
That's the thing. It's like you like to think you are, but then
Come
something
on,
happens.
Dude, you know me.
I know you, and you are definitely not a sheep. You definitely are.
But I'm not a good person. I'm not evil.
No, of course not. So yes.
I'm almost too loyal.
You are loyal. You are loyal. You were loyal to me when you didn't have to be.
Yeah.
100%.
Because to me, talent wins.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, you and I are the same. If a huge producer, I'm not going to name names, spits in my eye on set, I don't care. I'm in a fucking movie. You know what I mean? Like, I'm in a great movie. The ends always justify the means to me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? But it's like some people are like, well, no, I have my rights. No, you fucking don't. You want to be immortalized in a movie forever, like a good movie. I'm not saying like a B movie. I'm saying like, if an A+ director, I've had people fucking dressed me down, never personal, just like, dude, we were losing the sun. Fucking get your line, do the fucking shot, like,
yeah.
And 100 people are there, and I'm like, they're right. But how would that even work today? People would like cry.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, no, you're not. It's annoying. You and I are from the same.
Well, yeah, and also coming up, we came up a while ago, but also coming up in theater, like that was part of the mystique of theater. It was crazy Eastern European directors who screamed at you.
Yeah.
And called you names. And that's how you got better at Shakespeare or where the fuck it was,
Dude, you know what's crazy? I was thinking about it because you really are like a theater guy. I talked about it on my last pod with you, but you have so many different hats, dude. I mean, you fucking went to Princeton. You graduated top in your class.
Not top.
You went to Princeton, bro, and you're from West Virginia, and you're a theater actor, but you're also an amazing comedian. You're fucking BBJ, Brazilian. Like, you can do a lot of things. How is it now? If you were doing theater, how would you feel about the dressing rooms?
The dressing rooms in theater? In terms of like...
Because back in the day, it was like, quick change.
Yeah.
I would be weirded out now, right?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like coming up near a theater that I was so exposed to like, I mean, obviously gay people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like theater is gay people Jewish people and like trans people. That's what theater is.
That's your fucking take. All theater.
The audience is when I did a play about baseball.
There's no black people in theater.
Do a lot of black people come to Broadway theater?
There's a lot of black actors.
Proportionally by the percentage of black people, it's probably like half of the whatever. It's less. Obviously less. Mm-hmm. It's a very like, hey, honey, we're in Long Island. Let's go and visit our brother and bring him to the new Broadway show type of thing. So I don't know why they're from the 1930s, but yeah. So that's the audience. So if you do a play that's about baseball, which I'm like, if the Jews and the gays and the trans people don't want to see this shit, then it's not going to work.
How did the baseball doc go over with the trans?
I mean, like nobody came.
No one came.
No one came.
That sounded like a 99-seater.
No, this is Broadway.
It started on Broadway?
It started off Broadway. We moved to Broadway. And once we moved to Broadway, that's not the audience.
You ate a dick, but not in the right way.
Yeah, exactly. We didn't show dicks on stage, which would have been great for Broadway, yeah. They love naked boys on stage. My God.
Well, say men. What's the horse play? The horse one?
Equus?
Equus is a big one. Yeah. That's like a rite of passage for everybody listening.
It's like a 17-year-old boy with his dick out screaming about
Say
a horse.
18.
Huh?
Say 18.
18.
I don't know what it is.
In high school.
I don't know what it is in the play. When you're talking about these causes, bro, because isn't it wild how, like, I don't have the poke. You don't have the poke. Do you have the poke?
I got poked.
What?
But can I tell you something? I lost a job because I complained about the second poke.
Dude, fake. Why would you lie?
I know.
How the fuck did you do that?
Well, because first
what
of
did
all,
you get? A J&J? Don't say the company. Use code.
P&P.
Oh, is the one with all the initials? MNR. Wow, that's the one that's like a computer program.
Yeah,
how many did you get?
I got two. I didn't get a booster.
Jesus.
Well, I just got the one and
Bro,
the two.
You're a fucking natural liver. You can climb a fucking building with your bare hands. I can't believe you did it.
I know. I should have done it. And let me tell you something, Jamie. After I got this, let me tell you something.
How's your boner?
My boner's fine.
Okay, good.
Who's been talking?
Okay.
But after the second shot, I felt I had like a fluttering heart. And it went on for a while, went on for a month. And then after that, I never felt right. And everyone in my life, I said, I feel like something's wrong. I feel like, I don't know, like after that shot, man, something. And then shortly after that, I got a kidney stone, which I'd never had in my life. And then shortly after that, I got bronchitis and pneumonia, which I'd never had in my life. And I just felt like garbage for full. And then I looked up I was like, is there a connection? And then my heart, right? I had some heart issues.
I want to ask you about it.
I got AFib. They did an ablation. They did a cardioversion where they like electrocute you when you're under, and then they did an ablation. And I'm fine now. But all this shit started after the second shot. And I remember I was telling people, I think that shot fucked me up. And then I looked it up on the NIH website, and there is a link between the Pfizer shot, the Pizzy shot, and AFib causing it. That's on NIH. Now, I posted that on Facebook or whatever, Instagram, and the amount of people that came after me for whatever. Now, because I believe this, it means
you were in the fucking hospital.
It means I'm blowing off Elon Musk, or I'm a Nazi, or I have a funny comb over with a short mustache. I mean, like anything that you say that runs counter to the narrative of what the government says is the truth. A Democratic government says is truth. Then you're a crazy conspiracy theorist,
bro. First of all, I can't believe you. Because you are a natural animal. Like you could take your finger and put it in a man's abdomen because you have those abilities. You're a healthy guy. Did you do it? Did they cuck you down in the business?
First of all,
because you do that. You bitch down for the wood. And I get it, but you're a liar. Just like me, and you're a scumbag in the best way possible. I can't believe you didn't be a scumbag and just lie.
Well, I wouldn't wear the mask around like comedy clubs. I wouldn't wear the mask all the time.
I was a bitch for a while. I actually did wear it.
Well, because you also had some autoimmune issues that you had.
And heart.
Yeah.
And the reason I didn't get it is because I didn't want the heart more.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly.
Everything you had, I had naturally.
Yeah.
And I fucking had 2 ablations way before, like 15 years ago, and they're amazing.
Yeah.
They basically, for everyone listening, your heart goes blah, 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 and it just fucking closes every little exit, and then there's one highway for everything to travel through, because you would be like you get fucking jittery.
It's crazy. You get in the treadmill walking, your pulse is like 190. You're like, that's weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I can't believe you had all of these issues after, because you never had a fucking issue.
Well, that's the thing. It's hard to know about causation versus correlation,
Come on,
right?
Bill.
You don't know.
You are a white trailer. Can I call you trash?
By the way, you call me cracker.
From West Virginia, grew up on fucking beans and possum, went to fucking Princeton, fought trees,
Oh my God.
took down a ton of actresses, never had a cold.
But it is true that AFib, a regular heartbeat, mostly affects white European men.
Is that true?
It's true, yes. That means black people's hearts have better rhythm too. It's true. I'm not even kidding. It's true. Like, black men don't get it as much.
Bro, but you're literally gonna big pharma it right now and go causation. Fucking guys using the term causation.
Well, the only thing is my dad had it. That's the only thing. So there might be a genetic
How old are you,
component.
40 something?
Yeah, let's just say.
Okay. I know, dude, but you're so healthy, dude, and you run, you do everything.
No, I'm definitely young for an ablation. When did you
I
get
got
an
mine in my 30s.
That's wild, man.
Oh, I was on fucking 16 different pills. Like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not an 80-year-old lady. So it was a new procedure in like 2006.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Like right around when you met me, and they were like, and they fucking went in and they blast it. And it lasted like 8 years, and then they do something called spot welding, and then and now I'm good. And I'm kind of starting to feel a little odd, so I think I'm gonna do one more. But they can just now go in and do little pieces of it.
Oh, wow, that's wild. Yeah.
And it's like you don't even have to be asleep.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Soon your pacemaker that I have, that can be a biological piece of a heart, like a pig heart, redo it and kind of make that. I want that now, but my doctor's not offering it to me.
How long is your same pacemaker been in? How often do you need it replaced?
This one, dude, I'm starting to feel like it's been fucking 14 years. This is a long one. Now, you don't get much longer than that. So I have like another year.
Yeah.
So I'm literally going for my test next week. But
and they probably get so much better every increment.
They do, bro, but they don't. They want you to have this thing. They don't want to fix it. And my doctor's mad cool because he goes to every conference in the world. He's a big guy at a very big hospital here. I'm not going to drop his name, but he's like, listen, this is where we're headed. Where if you want this type of crazy treatment, you got to go to like South Korea. But he's like, there are other options to do this now without. But I'm so used to it. And it's deep in there, and we're all going to be cyborgs anyway. Don't you think? I mean, people. My boy who you met, John, he had crazy ass stunt, crazy thing. He did stem cells. His knee's insane. He's jumping off fucking small buildings.
Yeah.
Like that's crazy.
Have you heard about that? People go to Tijuana. They get picked up in a bus in San Diego, and they go to Tijuana because the amount of stem cells that you can inject in Tijuana are way higher than you can in America legally. But in Tijuana, like, where do they get it from?
Where do they get it from? What
human
cartel?
trafficking? Of course it is. But
it's human
apparently
trafficking.
It works.
Bro, that's so dark.
That is
so dark.
It's great.
Think about it. Would you take that? Oh, God, you're right.
There you go. We got a good movie premise right there. Yeah.
No, but it's like, is your ligament worth where it came from?
And we'll just see how it is. People just want to be willfully ignorant. They just want to be like, I don't know. It's from a sheep. It's from a goat. It's not from a small child from southern Mexico. Yeah.
I don't want to go off, but to finish that thought, and I'm going to go back to it, is that when I was shooting in South Africa, like the Tremors movies, horn poaching was the biggest thing. Oh, yeah. It's sick what they do to these rhinos. And to get it from there was a shootout the first night I got there, and they shot one poacher and the other one got away with the horn. It's crazy. That's $250,000 horn. And where it goes, and to get it from Joburg all the way up, they have to go through, it goes like through the Congo.
Yeah.
And then like gets on a boat from like the top of Africa, and then it goes, I mean, they don't want to say this, but it goes to China, and then they grind that shit down.
And they sell as boner pills.
Well, yeah, it's like a boner pill. It's like a super collagen, but they don't want to admit that, but that's a true thing.
Yeah.
That's what they'll use those horns for.
So all these like 7-year-old men having problems getting boners.
It's the rhino shit. But it's not like they cut the rhino, like maybe if you took a little piece of it, maybe like just like an inch of it. They take the whole, it's terrible.
Yeah.
And so, but there's a big fight. But I learned all about this dark trade It's fucked up, man.
And do the rhinos die when you cut off their horn?
A lot of the times they do, but this one did, and they saved it, and I think it was able to start growing again, which is a miracle. But it's just disgusting. But it's like, I don't know. We can figure out what it is and grow it in a lab, but it's just awful, and it's a dark thing. But you made me think of it because of like the other thing.
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
But dude, so you get your card. What was the job? It's probably like a fucking guest spot. That's what it was. It wasn't even. It was a guest.
Of course.
What was it?
It was any job. It was a guest spot.
What spot was it?
Tell me the
movie.
remember. At that time, I honestly was doing a lot of shows.
Okay.
You know, so it was probably my I had recurring with Hilary Swank in the show called Alaska Daily.
Okay, and what channel? What was it on?
It was ABC, Hulu.
ABC.
But I just felt like I needed, like at the time. Now you look back and they didn't give a shit. You could just flash them a baseball card, like, okay, cool, and walk away.
100%.
They never even like, well, that number doesn't match. That signature looks forged. So should I have forged it? I mean, in my heart, I wish I did. I actually, like I told you, I told the director, I was like, man, I wish I didn't get the second shot. I feel like it fucked me up. He goes, if you ever say shit like that on my set, I'll never work with you. And I was like,
who said that?
The director.
Name his name.
His name's Guy Jacobson.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Who is that?
He made this movie called Out of Order, which I had helped him write. I'd been unlisted for like 6 years. And then I had this, and then we were at like a cocktail party, and somebody said, and everyone was just, this guy kept making fun of like all the Republicans and all the stupid rednecks that weren't getting the jab. And then he said this, there's like 7 people at the party. He goes, you know what the Gen Z kids are calling people who don't get the shot? I'm waiting for a joke. I'm like, what's the funny joke that this is going to be? Plague rats. And so I just kind of sat there and I go, are you cool with calling black and brown people plague rats? Because you know, and I know, because we're in the real fucking world, black and brown people didn't really fuck with the vax.
No.
Yeah.
They don't trust it. They already had another problem with the fucking other vaxes.
Yeah, exactly. Like the NBA was all forged. 100% of the NBA was forged vax cards.
Yeah.
But everyone's like, oh, it's Kyrie Irving.
I mean, you can't, that's your opinion.
Yeah.
But
no,
hold on.
A lot of vax cards were not fucking legit in the NBA. I know that for a fact.
A comic that you and I, oh, you know that for a fact?
Yeah, for a fact.
Okay.
For a fact.
Well, I know a comic that you and I both know gave me a beautiful card, and I never even had to use it, but he had like fucking gold-plated card. And he's like, this is yours whenever you need it.
You get the golden ticket, the Willy Wonka golden ticket.
Yeah, so you know for a fact.
For a fact. Yeah.
For sure. And the bubble. So wait, this guy said this to you. Is he a big director? I don't care. We're dropping names.
No, but so anyway, that resulted in this kind of like. So he said
this thing, and you're at the party.
This, and it got really quiet when I said that. Everyone got really weird. And then he goes, oh, you know what you're talking. I just said, you don't know what you're talking about, man. Like, I'm not going to argue with you because you don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And then he got mad. He got his neck gaiter and put it over his nose. Which we all know is the most useless form of fucking protection anyway. The fucking little scarf that they put over.
Yeah.
And the director then fired me from the movie.
Wow. So Guy Jacobson.
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
He was very sensitive.
Wow.
Yeah.
Bro, that's fucking nuts.
And then he said, Joe Rogan is a mass murderer. He should go to prison for life. He's a mass murderer.
Does this guy have an accent?
Yes.
Where's he from?
He's Israeli. But I thought he was French the first 5 years because I couldn't tell the difference. Yeah, so
dude, what an fucking
idiot.
idiot.
It's wild. And the movie happened, and it was in the middle of COVID, and, you know, shooting movies during COVID was hard, right? You shot a bunch of shit, right?
I shot our movie. Me and Matt shot a movie.
Yeah.
And that was in the fall of 2021.
Yeah.
We shot it in Vegas. I had started going out. We started doing these outside shows here, and you know how they were in parking lots. And then the factory where we'd play all the TVs.
Oh my God.
But then we would do like these parking lot shows as you would, you'd go. And then I did the whole summer. It opened up in Vegas, and that was like people in my face. And then I did Austin, I did Seattle, and I did Florida. And I never got it. Yeah. And I was like, I'm good. And then on the set, they still had me the only guy not to wear a mask because I was always in scenes, and the crew did. But DPs were fucking in my grill and lighting.
Yeah.
And I didn't get it. So I'm like, I might be a 10%er. And then that Christmas of 2021, everyone got it.
Yeah. Was that Delta? Was that when it was like really bad?
Delta gluten free. I don't know. It was, but it was fucking terrible.
Yeah.
And I had to get it like twice.
What did you do? Because the weird thing that I've always found about what happened in America, every other country had some sort of therapeutic protocol that they did. Mm-hmm. And the number one therapeutic for every other country in the world was ivermectin. But in America, it was the most vilified, conspiratorial, like horse toothpaste bullshit. And it was something that actually worked. It was at least the rest of the world was using it as a therapy.
Yeah.
There was no other therapy that was recommended by Fauci other than like stay inside and don't infect people. Like there was no therapeutic because he was too busy focusing on the vaccine.
My lawyer hooked me up, and I had a whole that
did?
regimen. And
because Vaxil or Paxil, whatever.
No, just ivermectin and a host of other things.
Yeah.
And it was like a European doctor, and he's like, call this woman. And my chick got it, and we both got it. And she's young, and it's like she won the worlds as a cheerleader. That means she's in good shape.
Yes.
And she fucking was like, yeah. And we're both like, yeah, because she was supposed to take care of me. And I was like, what the fuck? And she's like partially Native American, so they have good fucking genes.
Yeah.
And we were done, and because I was like, I'll wait it out. And by the fourth day, it was just not going away.
Yeah.
And then my lawyer was like, here's who you're gonna call. He was fucking saved my life, dude. Because did I ever think I was going down? There was but there was a minute where I was like, this is fucking...
You might have to go to the hospital.
Yeah, I'm like, this is like I was just not myself. And I was looking in the fucking mirror, and I was like, Joe Biden. I was just like, like I didn't know who the fuck, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's fucking crazy, dude. But your opinions of Hollywood have to have changed so much. Like my heroes, all became cucks.
Yeah.
Isn't it crazy that the crazy guys, you, me, the comedy community is the one that's pushing back?
Isn't that wild?
And speaking up, the jesters.
Here's what I think, and I don't know if you back me up. I think that Trump winning in 2024, and let me just say this, I'm not a Trump fan.
Why not?
I still think he's a little bit of a fucking lunatic.
So what? You want that.
I don't hate him in a pathological, deranged way.
Come on, bro.
I just kind of
if
like...
If you had Mar-a-Lago, you and Trump was like, hey, Billy, come on.
Of course I would.
You would fucking love it, dude.
Yeah, I know. And my ex had dinner with him one time and said he's charming and funny.
He's
and,
hilarious. Come on, dude. You would love him.
Yeah, but I do worry. Sometimes he does something like, fuck.
Dude,
really?
We're all a little crazy.
Fuck.
He's a showman, dude.
Yeah.
He's a showman.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
But I think the reason that he won again in this time, I think the genesis, but I think the genesis comes from the comedy community. I really do.
Dude, I'm so with you.
Yeah.
Barron is the genius. It's like if you look at Obama, he said, I don't want to say that Bush, well, he was already legacy, but he was like, cable news was blowing up then, so he used that. Obama was a Facebook guy. Trump was like a Twitter guy, the first one. The second one was pods.
And TikTok, yeah.
And TikTok, 100%. And Barron was like the architect, bro, and he knew all the hot pot. I mean, dude, so many comics helped fucking prop him up.
Yeah.
It was. I so agree with you, bro.
Yeah.
Which is wild.
Yeah.
But it's beautiful because I believe that we have a rational voice.
And there's something called jester's immunity, which dates back to like the 1300s, where a court jester could say anything politically, dicey or whatever, and they had immunity. They had legal immunity. So they could literally go in front of the court and say, oh, the king is fucking with his mistress and whatever. And they'd be like, and it could be true. And everyone would be like, ooh, but he had immunity. He had legal immunity. So jesters could say fucking anything and they wouldn't get killed. That was like a standard, castle protocol.
Who gave him that? King?
I don't know. I think it was just sort of like the protocol for every fucking kingdom. It was called jester's immunity. Bro. Maybe this is just in England. But
that's brilliant.
So I think because of that, like we have that baked into what we do, like this jester's immunity. Although a lot of comics were kind of shy about talking about a lot of the movements that were coming in. Like not every comic was going like, let me tell you about BLM coming out of the gate. You know, not all comics were coming out hot about George Floyd or whatever.
No, they were.
They were.
But they weren't coming out about the vax. Here's what I don't get, bro, and I want to ask you about this. Why is it, and you will get this, but so many people don't. Why is it that the guy that I see in the DFW airport, I'm just taking a random example, and he's fucking got sticker books. You know what that is? Just, I hate mommy, I hate my daddy. Never like a random, like not like a hot chick sleeve. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, you mean his tattoos?
Yeah, his tattoos are just sticker books, right?
Yeah,
it's just, it's okay to get some, but you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And this guy was doing that, vaping, which is the worst.
Yeah, yeah.
And then like had 2 masks on and was railing about people that didn't want to get the 4th shot.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, of course.
Now, I picture this guy at CBGB's in New York fucking blasting fucking needles.
Yeah.
Why did those people cuck down?
Yeah, it's the same thing with the gay community too. Because the gay community, you'd think like,
Did the gay community cuck down?
they got really masky. They got really masky. I mean, they were fucking raw dogging in the steam room at Crunch, fucking with their masks on. You know what I mean? That was going on.
Is that true?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Gay guys were very masky.
The gay guys I know were not. They were
not masky.
No, they were anti a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, you have to put on a good face.
Maybe it's
for Mickey's,
like a lot of the West Hollywood, you know.
Because
people want people to look at them and go, "That's a good person." But that's what people want.
Well, I'm saying these guys that are like, "Fuck the system."
Yeah.
We're not doing that.
They were not doing that.
Here's my theory. The same with these guys that are like, "Fuck the system." Don't like Trump, and you'll be able to tell me what this is. It's like I look at Trump and I love the guy.
Yeah.
He's hilarious. My only hesitant in the beginning was what Hollywood would think of me. I've listen. You got this at the upfronts when I was on a show on NBC. We were just starting out. The Apprentice was the biggest thing. Anyone who you think is a super liberal was dying to get a picture with Trump because he was the most popular man in the room at the upfronts. You couldn't get to him.
Yeah.
And these are the same people going, no. I'm like, I literally have photos of you guys dying to do this. So that's the bullshit. But also, the guy's just so fucking funny, and he does not give a fuck, and he talks the way he talks, like we would talk in the back of a comedy club, and I'm like, this is my man, right? So I love him, and I feel like this is gonna. How can I say this? I feel like, and I'm not saying you're not, because you are. I feel like confident people let Trump be who he is because it's like, we love him. Yeah. But I feel like a lot of people are like, he doesn't rule me. It's like, do you know what I mean? There's like a weird insecurity there. And I'm like, it's okay. Like, a guy can be great at something and it's not you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you?
No, it does make sense.
Like, I feel like some people that I'm like, why are you acting all tough against him when you're not really that way?
Yeah. Because I think that ingrained, and maybe this is an American thing too, ingrained in our culture is, we need to root for the underdog. We need to be the guy who helps.
He's the biggest.
On some level.
He's the biggest.
But they look at Trump as a bully of the underdogs. They're like, the fact that he changed this law for women's rights, the fact that that's trans stuff.
He's not against abortion. He just doesn't want the thing to have a fucking driver's license when you decide to suck it out. I mean, come on, let's be real, bro.
No, I don't disagree with you.
You're a guy that had some kids,
and a guy who had some abortions too. So
I hate to hear that.
It's not great, you know. And I do think that is an argument worth having. Like, you know, like how
there's a difference though between like a week.
Of course. But a lot of Republicans don't see it that way. Republicans are like, when did seed is in there that God protects?
Is that true?
Some of them do, yeah.
Meaning, like, the minute it hits, it's a fucking full-on...
Yeah. Because, like, the morning after
it's a
pill.
zygote.
The morning after pill, or as Tosh says, breakfast in bed. which is like...
Brilliant.
Which is like one of...
God,
he's so good, right? Which is one of, you know, thank God for that. Like, I've bought some breakfast in bed in my life, and I think that the fact they're trying to ban that, I'm like, come on.
No, that's crazy. That's retarded.
Yeah,
that's retarded. Here's the thing: be careful if you don't want to do it. If you don't want to plan on having it, be careful. But you know, like some body's like, I was 4 months. I didn't know I was pregnant. How the fuck you not? You know what I'm saying? It's like, just do it within the proper window.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
But I don't think he wants that. He also doesn't. He's not against gays. Like what? I think he hired the highest gay in his cabinet.
Didn't he go to Elton John's wedding?
But he has a huge a gay guy in his cabinet, very high up.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think someone else is trans. Like I talked to a couple of trans people and they were worried. I'm like, he's not coming for you. He just doesn't want to pay for a homie's transition in LA County with our tax dollars. There's like certain things that's overkill here.
I did a video and it didn't get viral, but it got some views where I was mocking Selena Gomez crying.
Yeah,
goes,
which I hate to do because she's very powerful.
I couldn't, and I just said like, I don't know what to do. I feel so bad, like because of Trump. Like I have to wear a condom now. Like I don't like the way they feel. It was like whatever. It was a silly little video. This Latina American woman I've known for 15, 20 years goes, "That's fucking not funny, you goddamn hack. My family is in danger because of Trump." And I go, because she was born here, but she's Latin.
Okay.
And she goes, we have to carry our passports wherever we go now.
Is she a comedian?
No.
Okay.
She goes, but she's in that world. She's like maybe a bit of a chuckle fucker. And
she's a chuck fuck.
You maybe, all right, I'll tell you afterwards. But
he trying to say that? No,
but she's an attractive woman that hangs around comics, so maybe you know her. So she said, "You're a fucking hack. We have to carry our passports around."
Called you a hack.
Yeah,
that's worse than Andy. That's worse than racist.
And everything else, I was like, "Wait, what?"
That's worse than being
Hold
called
on,
a
this is an original
transphobe.
joke. No one else is doing it. That's all you care about.
Wow,
you're going to hell, you piece of shit, you hack. Wait, what do you mean I'm a hack?
Yeah, exactly. Hold on. So what happened?
So I said, I think you are overreacting, like most people these days,
like most Latinas. So what happened? What'd she say?
And she just said, "Fuck you, you're a hack," and like she called me a hack again. She double hacked me, and I was like, "Fuck!" And I was
double hack.
And I'm looking at I'm like, "This isn't a hacky bit. This is good. This is original."
So wait, are you cool with her now?
No, she blocked me.
Did you back in the day?
No. We never know.
Wow,
we never
she's wow.
Yeah.
Hold on a second. Here's my thing to her, and I don't know who it is. Do you know how many? I did a show in Sarasota, and I did this joke, and these guys were in the corner. They literally looked like they got off a fucking raft, and I did that joke. And I was like, Trump, and oh yeah. Like, they were pro-Trump, bro.
Yeah.
Straight from Cuba. Like, and it was like two card-carrying lesbians in the front. They're like, we don't like Trump, but we still love you. And it was a great esprit ad of people in Florida.
Yeah.
Which doesn't get the press it should. It was like everybody. And some people have different opinions, but they were there to laugh.
Yeah.
And it was awesome. And so here's how I think the Mexican or Latin thing's being overblown. And you tell me if I'm wrong, people in the comments. Guess what I did last night? Went to the factory, did 2 shows, and afterwards went to the taco truck. On the corner, and the line is long as fuck. There's 7 taco trucks on every corner here. Do you think they're all fucking carted up? And cops go to them.
Yeah.
I'm dead serious. Like,
of course,
is that crazy to say?
No, it's just illegal.
I mean, like, and then they want to start with last week. You saw that video with the El Salvador. Bro, he's a gangster.
Wait, of them walking off the plane?
Yes.
Yeah.
How can people in your eyes want to stop that?
Because again, this is once you sign up for the ideology that you are
ideology.
Yeah, that you are for the underdog. The shape of the underdog is 50,000 different things. It's a prisoner, it's an illegal, it's a trans person, it's a woman, it's a this, it's a that. Like anything that can create some status of victimhood on the totem pole above like white man and whatever, then people feel this sort of pathological need to like graft onto it to make their identity valid. Like I know a woman who she used to identify as like non-binary, but then she got a boyfriend and she was like, I don't know if I can go to the Pride March because I'm not in any of the categories. Like, I'm kind of like straight now. And I was like, you're a bitch. You're stupid. Like, what the fuck are you talking? She felt guilt. She can't go to the pride because now she's not one of the letters that. I'm like, but isn't a plus or an ally? Like, who gives a shit what letter you are? You want to support gay people? Go support them.
Yeah.
Hold hands with your boyfriend and support them.
Yeah.
I'm a fraud because I have a boyfriend. What a fucking. This is New York theater in a nutshell, by the way.
Bro, why? When did this happen and why? What is that?
What is
it?
It is the byproduct.
You're saying such a good way, though.
It's a byproduct, in my opinion, of an incredibly wealthy society that does not have a common cause anymore.
So you know when 50 says depression is a luxury?
100%.
I love that. I love him so much.
That was also a guy in the Rogan podcast said something like, the biggest sort of factor in depression and suicide is pondering.
Yes, it was a woman. Rumination. There's a whole book about it, and it's so true, dude. Yeah. Overthinking and all that shit.
It's 1900, and you're just fucking tilling your farm all day.
Yeah.
And if the wife, you got to cook the food for the 15 kids or whatever. You're not ruminating.
Cut a piece of your toe off because it could be scurvy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So
we have the luxury of rumination to the nth degree, more than any other society in the history of the world right now. Mm-hmm. So, of course, with all that luxury, I mean, so I have a daughter who just graduated Berkeley, right?
Bro, this is crazy. That story is another pod.
Yeah.
I've known him since she was a little baby.
That's right. We were,
And that was that's just wild that your daughter now.
Yeah.
And Berkeley. She got your brain, dude.
She's brilliant. She's funny. She's every amazing attribute. I would always you're me 2.0. You're way better than me. But here's the thing.
But she hates his guts.
No, she loves.
You're a white male piece of shit.
She loves me.
Okay.
But she is, because of her, she's so ensconced in that ideology of helping the less privileged that it freezes her. It freezes her in her tracks. It keeps her from getting a job. It keeps her from moving up because she is so overwhelmed by empathy and sympathy. And that is why I think at the end of the day, even if you're a Democrat and liberal, you have to acknowledge that we need nerdy, fucking uptight, rule-filing Republicans to keep this world in some sort of fucking balance. And I think the difference with Republicans and Democrats is Republicans at least acknowledge that, okay, you guys are trying, just curb it a little bit. Like, I don't think they just throw Democrats out, baby, with the bathwater. But Democrats do with Republicans. It's like everything you stand for is fucking evil. And they're like, well, we're just trying to fucking slow things down. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So my daughter is one of the people so far on this side that she is so overwhelmed by the amount of victims that she can empathize for and take care of that her, as a privileged white woman, although she's not very privileged, she feels almost guilty doing anything for pleasure or fun or chasing money. It's bizarre. But she's very typical of her generation. And she's brilliant, and she's good looking, and she's tall, and she's amazing. But she just is paralyzed by her own fucking ideology.
Blue hair?
Purple.
Wow. Fuck, bro. Fuck. Is that real?
That's right.
Bro. What? But here's the thing. I look at you, bro, and you're an empathetic dude. You're a thoughtful guy. And I would say you have to be a great comedian, which you are. But there are comedians that are sociopaths, and they don't.
Of course.
They can read the room like you, but not care. But you do read the room and you do care. You know what I'm saying? You're like me with a heckle in the sense that you don't just murder a heckler. You have fun with them. You give them as much rope as you want and come back and forth, and it's a play. Yeah, Some comedians freak out and go, fire,
Yeah.
So you're an empathetic person. So I don't know what happened in our society that it's like you have to have a certain label, and it's like they're empathetic, but they're not empathetic to you or your cause, that you have a fluttering heart.
But if I post, hey guys, I had to go get a procedure for my heart.
Do they care?
Oh, that's the only time I get fucking likes and comments on my posts.
Really?
But if I do a comedy bit, I'm like, black people versus white people.
Yeah.
Nothing.
But pushing back somehow is pushing back on things is considered hateful when we're just investigating?
Yeah. No, of course. Yeah.
Especially in our community. I think comedy, you tell me if I'm wrong, and I specifically think The Factory. Like I was saying last night, like I was the DEI hire last night on both shows, and it was great. I mean, but I believe it's the most inclusive thing in Hollywood right now.
And you look at the audiences. I don't care where you are, any comedy club, for the most part, it's the most diverse group of people you're going to see in the room.
100%.
Other than the airport, it's like the most diverse group of people you're going to see in the room.
Dude, you're so right.
Yeah.
And so I feel like, and they want to laugh.
Yeah.
So the fact that this I don't know, it's just this thing of like, because everybody from the different races doesn't identify as a white liberal thinks they do.
Yeah.
And you know this.
100%.
From comedy.
Yeah.
And that's why I knew Trump was going to win in Slaughter is because I play a club in North Carolina.
Yeah.
I go to Chandler, Arizona. I don't just play Manhattan.
Of course.
And you know it.
Yeah.
And you get the vibes.
Or Reno. Yeah.
Exactly. 1,000%. And when like Me Too happened, which, we have to figure that out. You know how many comedy club waitresses are going, shit, I could tell you, I don't fucking say shit. Like, like a pat on the ass was a tip for these women. Like they have stories forever.
Yeah.
And that's the whole thing with Hollywood too. It's like the sets of like what they say and what really happens. It's also bullshit.
Yeah.
Like the whole intimacy coordinator thing. I'd love to get your take on that one.
Oh, I just did a TV show where they had intimacy coordinator.
Take me through the process.
So first, I thought I was going to be naked in the show. I can't name the name of the show because I'm on a very strict NDA.
Your Trump is really.
But you can
pickle shot.
They said it was going to be a pickle shot,
and you wanted that.
I wanted the pickle shot.
He puffs up nicely.
I got a good fluff.
No, you're good tuna. You're tuna can. You're not exactly the longest thing, but you'll tear the sides up. Is that weird to say? No. Paint the walls. Is that weird? I don't know.
So whatever, but I was like, hey, I get to be on a premium
he
service.
Opened for me. We see these things.
Premium service. With my healthy, ample junk out. Let's do it.
And you were going to give it a little tug before, right?
One tug, two or three.
They put a sock on you or no? It's your choice.
So it ended up not happening.
Wow. You signed the rider?
My scene. I signed 8 million nudity waivers.
Sex or just you coming out of a shower bullshit?
It was. I just had like sort of like an orgy in a strip club.
Okay. And
I'm in the champagne room. I'm passed out. I hang out, pants by my ankles.
You and McGregor are kind of like train spotting shots.
Yes. And it was going to be in front of like one of the biggest actresses on the planet.
Who's Okay. All right. I know where we're at.
So I was like, oh man, this is going to be fun. What a great way to meet this. And I was like,
so you were auditioning even though you got the job.
Yes.
Gotcha.
And I'm kind of like, should I have a little nibble of Viagra before the shot? Should I, I'm thinking about this. And then
this is going to go so much trouble. This is how he does with intimacy coordinators.
And I'm thinking like, oh man, I could get some press. Who's the man with the fat Johnson and whatever? Mm-hmm. Then we get there like, okay, you're still in your underwear. Like, I had a week of psyching myself out. But at the same time, intimacy coordinator called me the night before and monologued for like half hour. Just this fucking pre-prepared bullshit monologue about how important it is to everyone feel safe and heard and listened to. And blah. I'm like, and she kept repeating that in like different weird permutations, like for a half hour. I'm sitting there going, okay, so in other words, don't grab her titties unless you tell me to. Got it. Like there's literally like nothing. We're adults. Like how much of a, I'm getting like straddled and like a lap dance and something, and I'm, and you just, I know that I'm not going to just start grabbing. The director's going to tell me what to do. She's going to say what,
Yeah.
I don't need a half-hour phone call to be like, this is how you behave as a human being on a set.
Yeah.
And she's probably getting like a 6-figure salary just to go around and say this shit.
So it's a So how does it work? It's a call. It's not a public announcement on set. It's not like a safety meeting.
Oh, there's emails and waivers and all this stuff. I think there's
new,
but they did like very close set. Like the set was just like the director, the actors, and like a skeleton crew. They were very strict about close set. And so I just thought the whole thing was ridiculous with the intimacy coordinator. Like, I don't need that. I'm like, oh, so I can't just put my finger up a button. Okay, like what? You know what I mean? It's silly. Like we're adults,
bro. I'm hearing that people are catching heat because, and I don't like to comment on other people, so I'm going to talk in code, because they didn't use an intimacy coordinator on this movie, and it wasn't, and everyone signed off on it. Like the actors and the director and the producers, everyone's like, yeah, we don't need it, it's fine.
Yeah.
But like apparently people are like saying, well, what if the crew doesn't feel comfortable? I'm sorry. There's Fig Newtons for you to fucking stack. We don't worry about you over there. I mean, like, if the craft service person's worried about you popping a fucking wood, like, is that where we're at? I'm sorry. I've done every job, so I can say these jokes.
Oh, dude. Yeah.
I mean, it's for her. Like,
I got removed from a set.
I want to hear it. And Gwyneth and Timothy Chalamet have a new movie, and they say, please back off.
Yeah.
Which is beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because they're great actors, and also Gwyneth is probably like, let me have a little moment.
Yeah, of course.
Okay. So wait, go ahead.
I got kicked off of a set because I was playing this alien character, and I had to wear like a thong. I had to wear like a thong.
It's always in a thong with you, William.
With like tube dicks, right? And then I had like 3-inch nails and like
definitely not a premium streaming service.
Yellow contacts. It was a film, and I'm like, this is but it was a fun part. I'm like, all right. But with those nails and the thong, like peeing was, and I was in makeup for like 10 hours. Mm-hmm. So every time I went to like open the bathroom in the trailer, my nails would break or whatever. So I would pee in the bush. Mm-hmm. I would just go back and like and pee in the bush. And some PA saw it.
No.
Yeah.
You peeing in a bush?
Saw me peeing. It was 3 a.m. There was nobody around. I'm like, my back is to everyone. I'm way in the bushes. She saw it.
Oh no, it was a woman.
She went to the lead producer, big company, and said, I don't know, but one of the producers on the show.
Not the producers.
I was producer on it.
Oh.
And acting. And she was like, I saw him like peeing in the bush, And then she and then a producer in Video Village was telling me about going to strip clubs. I don't like going to strip. You know that about me. Mm-hmm. I'm not like a strip club guy.
No.
So he was talking about.
You don't like to get all worked up and not nothing happening.
He was talking about going to the champagne room. It was like, these girls will fucking do this stuff. I'm like, and I was like, what are you talking about? Girls will like blow you in a champagne room?
Can't say that. That's not true. Go ahead.
And he goes, yeah, man. Da, da. And he's like the top producer. And the long and short of it is, the same PA who was suspicious of me at this point overheard this. Now she had 2 complaints.
Oh, fuck, bro.
She didn't complain about the producer telling me the story about it. But she complained about me asking about this happens in the champagne room. She overheard it. Apparently, nothing that you say on set is private. Literally. I mean, that is actually the protocol and the rule, that anything that you say, you could be a Video Village leaning, whispering, and if a fucking extra hears you in the back, like you have violated their privacy.
That's new.
Yeah.
That has to be new.
Yeah.
When did that happen?
That's what I was told.
The shit that people have whispered to my ear, because I'm always naturally paranoid, which is good about me. But fucking, no offense to grips, but some grips are like, hey, Jamie, Monday morning, look at this. You know what I mean? On your phone, and you're like, dude, I haven't even had my coffee yet. Like, what a weekend. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Of course.
So that's all out the window.
Oh, you can't do that shit anymore. And I think I think art on some level, I don't know if it's going to suffer, but it's going to change because sets are going to be way more like the idea of just free flowing with jokes and bits and anything because like let's be funny is going to be completely out the window. My character at one point, I'm speaking to some people as English and I'm an alien, and then like a Japanese couple showed up. And I was like, konnichiwa. And I said like some other like nonsensical thing.
On set? Or
on set.
Okay.
Just off the top of my head, just like all of a sudden.
Joking with them.
Well, also just like I'm an alien. Here's the white people I dealt with. Now there's Chinese people. I can speak Japanese now because I'm a genius alien. So I was like, konnichiwa. And I said maybe like a nonsensical word.
But was this on camera or just?
On camera.
Okay, that makes sense.
The producer wanted to throw me off set then. He wanted to fire me then.
Is he white?
Of course he's white.
What a fucking... But like a card-carrying Pearsall or like a fake Pearsall guy? Warby Parker. Fake Warby Parker or real Warby Parker?
It's almost just like he wants to be Republican, but he can't because he's too much of a cuck. You know what I mean?
It's the cucks.
Like a little uptight. I'm not saying he's not a smart guy. He's partners with a huge person in the industry, but at the same time, a little bit like, really, this is the mountain you're going to die on. So he's the one who demanded I get removed from set because of the peeing in the bush, and because I overheard one of the producers talking about BJ's.
So what happened?
So I was kicked off set,
and you were fired.
I mean, I'd already gotten paid, but yeah, I was kicked off and I couldn't be there for the rest of the shoot.
Part was cut?
No, they kept my part. So it wasn't like, at the end of the day, it wasn't a big deal. Like, I shot my stuff and I still have a producer credit, but.
Have you ever talked to him since?
I saw him at a screening, and I'd left like a crumpled up tissue in one of the pockets of, he was like, Bill, I was like, you fucking nerd.
Wow.
You nerd. Anyway, yeah, so it's all right.
My first sex scene ever, it was not something that was like, because no one expected me. Like, I'd done my different movies and wild characters, and it was an independent where you get to try more stuff.
Yeah.
And the woman is pretty famous now, and it was in the shower, and I was kissing her, but I guess they wanted to shoot it so my ass and her, like if you did a pan, you could see her breast. So she was completely topless and she was fine with it. And then you come from my butt to like kind of her butt, and that was the first time I ever saw a patch.
The merkin?
It was a patch.
Patch.
Merkin adds hair.
Okay.
This was like a surgical patch, and it looks like it's part of their body.
Oh wow.
But it was just covers up, the garage door, if you can. If that's
and the doorbell.
Yeah, so it's completely like there, like kind of like Barbie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I didn't even know. And she just got in the shower, and I was wearing that sock, but it was like the water, and it wasn't just working. and I was like, well, I have to wear that, and I was like, I don't, because I don't hope, I was like, I don't want anything if I, if the scene gets really intense, and she's like, go with it, darling, she's fine. And she was so cool, so open, so lovable, and we did the scene, and we kissed, and it wasn't any sex or anything. It was just a shower, and like a little kiss and a little hug. I never thought twice about it. I mean, she was just so inviting, so cool.
Yeah.
And that's how we did it in the late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And you don't want to know about the 70s. You don't want to know about the 80s.
No.
You don't want to know about 80s casting sessions, which were normal. I can tell you stories, and you know this, not just a bump, but also a bump. Like, that was common, dude.
Yeah.
People, what I mean? Like, and it was all consensual.
And it's still happening.
Of course.
Let's not pretend it's not happening.
Of course. So here's a question for you. Has anyone ever told you that they did that to get a part?
No, of course not. But many people have told me that it's been propositioned to them.
And did they accept?
Of course they didn't. Did they? I don't know. They didn't.
What's worse, the person jumping the line or the person offering? It's a good one, right? Because
it's got to be the person offering. It's got to be like just
hold on.
15% worse.
No, what's fucked up, I think, is the dude who propositions does it and then doesn't give the girl the part. That's fucked up.
Yes.
Like there's causation right there.
Yeah.
But if like you hear about this stuff and the person offering, but there are other people that kind of offer to jump the line.
100%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's not just, it's a both and both.
Well, I mean, that's the whole sort of new internet controversy about Harvey Weinstein, right? With this woman who is, now, if you say anything that could remotely be, vindicating Harvey Weinstein, of course, you have a funny comb over and a small mustache. But at the same time, of course he's guilty of assault. He's an awful, awful human being.
Cover your tracks, Bill.
But no, of course he is. But the case with this woman is, the receipts are out and they're not great. They're not great. I mean, she was with him for 5 years and had sexual relationships for 5 years, and then
is this a known thing?
Yeah, and then she didn't get a part in a movie that she wanted, and then shortly after that, and now look, I'm not saying
names. Are there names?
Yeah, it's all over. It's all over the web. You can find it. But anyway, the point is, like,
I hope it's not somebody I know.
So it's weird because I think a lot of times people, again, they think the ends justifies the means. It's like Harvey Weinstein, without a doubt, is guilty of assault, without a doubt. But this was the only legal case where they could push it forward. Do you know what I mean? The other ones were people either were too traumatized. They didn't. I mean, once you start having 50 cases against you, and come on, it's not just like, well, misunderstandings, and you know how women can be. It's like he was a fucking monster, obviously. Mm-hmm. But the case they have, I think in California, where he is sentenced the longest, I think that case is a little like they try to shoehorn it into the narrative against him because it was their best chance to get him in jail. But does it hold a lot of water? It's at the very best, it's dicey. It's a little dicey. I mean, you're with someone for 5 years.
They were together
on and off. Yeah, it's just
consensual.
Kind of, well, I mean, at some point, but also then, of course, the argument is, well, even if it's consensual, if someone is an employer and you're an employee or potential employee, is that some form of harassment or assault or using your power? And of course it is, but like that's why people have power jobs, to get sex. And that's what.
I mean, that's just honest.
I mean, Neil Brennan, one of his first jokes was like being a producer is a printing press for pussy in Hollywood. And, you know, you can't say that's wrong,
dude.
It's true.
You fucking you jump the line.
Yeah,
I mean,
and I think if any like a show like The Bachelor will prove that women will just subjugate themselves to anything just to get famous. There's not one woman in any season of The Bachelor out of how many hundreds of women that were like, you know what, you're just kind of not for me. You're cool, so I'm going to go home. But like, I like you, but I think we're more of a friend vibe. Mm-hmm. Every single one of them will go down fighting to get married to this guy that they just met 5 minutes ago. That speaks to a certain mentality.
Because they want to be married, famous, both?
Famous. Yeah. I think it's like a fucking pathogen in the brains of most people in America. The idea of what fame can give them and offer them.
That's true. But
Yeah.
you said women. How do you feel about OnlyFans?
Look, I feel like if you're a hot woman with no parents.
Do you know 3% they say of women? I don't know, all women, 3% of like do OnlyFans in America.
Really?
3%.
Look, if I had perfect tits and a perfect ass and I was 5'8" or whatever the fuck it was and I was a woman, it's a wrap. Like you're done. If you're a hot woman and you want to
What are you doing though? Are you cooking topless? Are you putting?
You could
are you wearing a tail? Where are you at?
You can do lingerie and little ass shots with a thong.
Okay.
And if you're hot enough, you'll still make $10,000 a month just fucking showing that.
You're not doing. Are you doing a scene?
You could, if you want to make a little bit extra money and you have a little less morals and less living relatives, then yeah.
You said morals. Some people are going to come for you on that because
I don't care.
My whole thing is the whole world has I was thinking about this the other day. There's and you're talking about us. We toured together, okay, with my other buddies too. And I mean, you know, we've had great times. There's so much. Everything is so sexualized now that it kind of turns me off. Am I crazy to say that?
No, not at all. 100%.
It's weird.
Yeah.
Like, am I crazy to say I like the mystery? Like,
100%.
Is this weak to say I don't mind a little coquettishness? I'm not asking for a week, but like even when you go to like a Maxim party, girls were dressed sexy, but it was still like fun. It wasn't like fucking just like hardcore, like vulgar talk. And I don't know. Like, am I a nerd?
No. And sometimes you can be hot and rock a pantsuit.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I just find it's just wild. It's like people worry about human trafficking. It's like, well, a lot of people are trafficking themselves.
Yes, of course.
You know, I mean, it's like wild, and it's like I don't know, but I'm like. I think because I think about the future, like what's going to happen in 10 years? Are people going to look at? But our society is getting so debased, that I think it's going to be normalized. Yeah, and that sounds weird that you and I are saying that. Yeah, because we're not prudes, but it is like people are going hardcore, bro.
Yeah, yeah,
it's wild.
Sex work is real work.
See, come on, man.
Is it?
I know.
Is it?
That's what, like, is this a hater? Are we hating?
If you love what you do and you never work a day in your life, hey.
What is the take on this sex work?
This is how I
You have to be
feel.
respectful, obviously.
And obviously,
But it's not even legal, which is crazy.
I have daughters.
Yeah, dude.
I'm very sensitive to it, and I do think that I think that porn is bad.
Yeah.
I think it sounds really. I feel like such a porn is bad. You kid with your porn, but I just feel like what I've learned and found out from everything with YouPorn and Pornhub, whatever, it all in some way contributes to child trafficking.
Oh,
all of it, like there is a money trail directly. The credit cards that are being used for Pornhub, the amount of porn that's linked to these credit cards, it's insane. And every 2 years, like, we didn't know that there was underage. Sorry about that. There's victim porn and revenge, and we didn't. Sorry, they'll pay out a settlement because they make so much fucking money, and then they keep going, and then they get busted again. Like every couple of years, they get busted for some sort of, but it always involves some form of trafficking. So, in my brain, I'm like, anytime you watch porn, you are. So, in that level, OnlyFans is probably the best one because it's more of a co-op, right?
Well, you're taking. I mean, there's an argument. I had an argument with in Schaumburg recently with a heckler, and she was a Berkeley type, but she's like, you're taking agency over your own body, and she was right, and she was saying this stuff. And porn stars, we know them because they are in our business.
Yes,
and they mingle, and a lot of girls that I know that were like Vivid girls and stuff do very well on OnlyFans, and it's there, but they've been through the ringer. Not that they should have been.
Yeah.
Even although Vivid was like the MGM. I mean, it was like a nice studio.
Yeah.
Compared to what it is, but they do it now, know how to do it, and it's on their terms. So I think in that way, if you're a lifer, yes. But I don't know. I did a show at Stand Up Bellflower, and this teacher was there, and I did this OnlyFans joke, and he got really sad, and then he heckled, and I was like, "Why are you sad, bro?" And he's like, "Because you don't know how, like, half of my students said they can't wait to graduate to start an OnlyFans."
God.
And that just fucked me up, dude.
Nobody wants their kid. No one's like, I'm a stripper just like my mama and her grandmama, and hopefully my daughter will be a stripper. Like, obviously, like, it's nothing that you're incredibly proud of. There's a part of you that even the porn stars and strippers that I know that we both know, they're not like, oh yeah, I want to do this. They have a plan to get out. They have a plan to do something else with their life.
Doctor, you're right. Doctor, I would like to see how he is now because he's kind of a little bit more right. Is Dr. Drew. We used to have this argument all the time on Loveline, and I said, come on, there's a percentage, and this is when you and me and Stu were on tour, so it was a different time. I'm like, there's a percentage that's okay with it. I would say 95% shouldn't do it, but there's like 5%, and he was like, not one person in porn wants to do it.
Wow.
And he holds it to this day, and I can say there's one person I feel like literally is like, there's two women I've met that are like very comfortable with it, and it's just literally working at Chipotle. But that doesn't mean there's not damage there. Of course, but dude, they talk about their damage, made peace with their damage, and they're like, I'm good at it. Yeah. I'm a plumber. I'm fixing a U-joint, whatever.
Yeah.
But you're right. The question is, can you do it and never have any damage? Probably not. You're not going to do it if you don't have damage, correct?
I mean, once you commodify your sexuality. And by the way, when I was in college and I was a yoga teacher.
Commodify, so smart, dude.
When I was a yoga teacher and I felt like I was like doing Kundalini, at one point I was like, what can I make as an escort? Like, I really wanted to be a gigolo.
Were you getting hit on a lot? You were doing
not for men. I wasn't like, no, I was doing well. Yeah,
not for men.
I did get paid to escort women places sometimes. I did. They would say, hey, my boyfriend's a waiter. Max is a waiter here. Can you be my date at this restaurant and take me? Or I'll pay you $500.
Okay, but you're saying you wanted to be a sex worker.
So I thought about like
why does Kundalini make you think of that? Breathing?
Just because it's like tantra and all the fucking bullshit.
But you had a couple of cougars in class saying what's up.
Sure.
Yeah.
But so for a while I thought about it and I thought, oh, I could be like more of a healing type of, like, I could help with just, whatever bullshit justification I had. And then you find out, and I talk to actual gigolos, and they tell me, oh, you're going to have to suck a dick. You're going to have a guy. At some point, a guy's got to suck your dick if you actually want to make a living as a male gigolo.
Wow. Couldn't just be all women.
I mean, I guess it could be, but not if if that's your fucking job. There's gonna be a dick in your face at some point.
Because there's just not enough women willing to pay.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes. Or it's going to be like a couple that wants to hire you to come in. Anyway, that's a segue. So I don't have like a natural thing like don't do any sex work, it's terrible, but we can't pretend that kids are, playing with their Barbies like, oh, here she comes to the pole, and they want to be a stripper or they want to be a sex worker. Obviously, it's something that you think, oh, I need them, because you do it for money, right?
Yeah, but there's like one stripper I think there's two. One in Vegas at Sapphire. I remember this because these are like moments that burn in my brain because I go against it. And another girl in New Orleans at the Hustler Club, and she literally went to UConn. Sweetest girl, beautiful. And she's like, I'm literally doing it for this summer and next summer. And she was just a great dancer.
Yeah.
And she would talk to us because I was filming a movie there, and she was mad cool. Was not, and she's like, my parents don't know, and I'm gonna make great money.
Yeah. And
then I'm gonna graduate and I'm gonna have a head start. But she literally did it for 2 summers.
Yeah.
She
actually quit. Are you sure that she quit?
I haven't kept tabs.
Because when the money's that good, my understanding is that they're like, the money's that good, they're like, oh fuck, I can just go back and make
more than 2 seasons on Bourbon Street.
Yeah.
That's hardcore, bro.
Yeah.
I mean, but she was beautiful.
And there are some pole dancers that are friggin' incredible.
Cirque du Soleil.
I mean,
straight
next
up
level talent. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's when I learned when Sapphire opened, because you don't like strip clubs, and I haven't gone in a while, but Sapphire really is a work of art. Like there are girls.
The one in Vegas?
Yes, and they're working this pole like you've never seen. Incredible.
Yeah.
Like acrobats.
Yeah.
So there is that. It got watered down through bullshit.
Yeah.
But I mean, they really make the other girls like fucking step your game up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like up, down, this whole thing. It's wild.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then there's just dancers, and then there's just girls that are just hot that will just talk to you all day, be your therapist.
It's also, my brother Jim, he's kind of like this genius writer. He has a book called Evil Men. He talks about the process by which men are turned into people that we deem evil, right? It's very rare that people come out doing like twisting a fucking handlebar mustache. Usually people have to be broken down by an ideology or a system of government or something that makes them okay with killing in the name of whatever cause it is, right?
To justify it.
Yeah, to justify. That explains all the Nazis, all the Japanese war criminals, because they didn't come out like evil. The idea that all Nazis came out doing like, hey. No, they were just normal people with normal ideas, and they slowly, systematically, their brain gets dismantled and reformulated into this different way of thinking.
Radicalized.
And I feel like if you're working in the sex industry, like you're a strip club, the amount of stuff you're going to see and experience, it's going to be really hard to maintain that thought of like, I'm in it for 2 summers. Because I think you get so desensitized to so much shit. I've known strippers that are like, I'm gonna, and they keep doing it until they meet a client who becomes a husband.
Yeah.
Which happens.
Yeah.
The story of Honora.
I have to see that.
You haven't seen it?
No.
Yeah, sorry.
Looks amazing. Don't tell me. Fuck.
Okay. No, that doesn't do anything, yeah.
Dude, why are people mad at Elon? It makes no sense to me. If they're mad at Elon, aren't they mad that he's encroaching on their corruption?
Well, I think people are, again, I don't think it's that complicated. I think people are mad at Elon because they see him as a rich colonizer white man. So anything he does is going to be through the filter of being an entitled aristocrat.
No matter what happens, if you save people from the space shuttle, if you create a more ecologically friendly vehicle,
yes.
If you create a system where I can PayPal you, people you're saying are much more, they're just stuck with the shell instead of the stuff. It's too much content. Instead of the content, they're too much with the context.
Yes, I think so.
It's insane.
I mean, I heard this.
It's insane.
This guy talk about, he's probably super, I don't know who he is. He's probably super right wing. He's a British guy. But he was talking about the Israel-Palestinian conflict, right?
Which is the thing I don't even comment on because it's like where.
And he said, one of the things that people don't realize, and this goes to every movement, is when you are, and for Muslims, they believe that they have the last revelation. That is the final sort of prophecy from God. Started, with Moses, then Jesus, and then Muhammad was the final one with the final message, more comprehensive, and this is how we're going to move forward in the world. So they're like, okay, we got the best religion. We get the best religion. Obviously, this is the last revelation. This is everything. We suck in Judaism, we suck in Christianity, we take all the best, and now we're the final, the trilogy, the Return of the King, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they're doing the worst financially in the world. So the reason can't be maybe the system of governments that we created based on religion, which basically holds women in subjection for the most part, that isn't effective. That can't be the reason. The reason is evil white men and evil Jews and colonizers. That has to be the reason why the Muslim community writ large in their countries hasn't prospered like the Western civilization, because of Western evil. Not because of maybe telling women they can't work actually is detrimental to our economy.
Mm-hmm.
That is. So I think that mentality goes through everything. Is like, if we are the best people, I'm a Berkeley graduate with purple hair, I'm empathetic, but I'm doing the worst because I have a fucking drive-through job at Arby's, and these people are making tons of money on Wall Street, then it has to be because they're evil.
Yeah, there's a lot of blaming. Dude, I can't believe that in Hollywood, the Jews are being persecuted. Never in my life.
But are they?
Well, how can I say this? There's a pushback.
Yeah.
The Jews are getting a ton. The Jews are getting a lot of fucking hate right now, dude.
Hey, I'm a converted Jew.
Are you?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So then when did that happen? You're a Jew?
5 years ago, yeah.
To who? Who did you?
To Yahweh.
Wait, when did you become a Jew? How are you a Jew? You're white as fucking snow.
I met a Jewish girl who I fell in love with, so I converted. Yeah, before that I was a homosexual. That's a joke I say on stage, but I did convert. Yeah.
Hold on,
it was a year-long process.
Knew
yeah.
that.
Because
so
I was
you?
It's
and you're not with the girl anymore?
No.
So are you still cheap?
That's the question. Am I? Hey, you're Scottish. You're one to talk.
I know. You still get discounted cantors. No, but I haven't been able to use my Jew card. Jew?
Yeah, I haven't been able to use my Jew card.
Does anyone know this? That you're a Jew now?
Well, you grew up Catholic, right?
Yeah, but they say there's probably some Jew in my family. Uncle Bernie. I had a Bernie. But I'm Catholic. I'm like you. I'm a European. We're like probably rats from Welsh.
Yes, of course. There's some Welsh in there.
Yeah.
But don't you sometimes I look at Christianity sometimes, and I've always felt like this as a kid. I was like, it feels like the fan fiction of Judaism. It's kind of like, here's the original idea, which is like, hey, there's a God. There's no hell. There's life. It's the most bare bones, rudimentary belief in a monotheistic creator, right? Everything else. Now, Jesus comes along, and his death corresponds with winter solstice. His birth corresponds with Easter. It's just like, it felt like it was so embedded in sort of.
You're not talking bad about Christianity, are you?
No, but I just feel like Judaism is the original. It's
going to be such a clip right there.
It's the OG.
So you're saying everything spurned from Judaism?
Of course it did, yeah.
Okay. So you're a Jew now, converted Jew. But then I said Jews are being... what I'm saying is people are on the campus of Westwood and UCLA, which is a mostly Jewish...
And they're being barred from going to class.
Yes!
It's ridiculous.
Like Westwood, a lot of real estate's owned by very wealthy Jewish people. I'm not saying there's none, but Westwood, it's everything. Jews are very prominent in Hollywood, okay? Yeah. They've done very well. They built this town. And the fact that they cannot walk to class without someone saying shit, crazy. You have to, that's insane.
It's insane.
I'm not saying that everything is, one side is completely clean and the other one's not. There's... obviously problems in Palestine, and there's victims on that side as well. But that's odd. I never thought you would see that in Los Angeles, California.
And the amount of videos of just Jewish kids walking down the street getting the shit beat out of them by a group of
that's insane. So then how do you solve this? Because you said you could.
How could I solve the Palestinian?
No, I know you said you couldn't,
conflict?
but you do have a good take on it.
I got to tell you this. Now, this may sound completely fucking nuts because it's something obviously I have a vested interest in. I have,
now you're a Jew.
Because now I'm a Jew. And I have a lot of Israeli friends like Guy Jacobson.
Oh, you know what? Just to let you guys know, I feel like I said at the factory, there's so many Muslims,
of course,
and gays. Like we literally sit in the esprit ad of religion,
absolutely.
And so you know everybody and work with everybody. So I want people to know that. So
I've never done a show talking about, I mean, obviously, if I talk about Judaism, I make jokes about Judaism.
Yeah, but you also make jokes about Muslims. You make jokes about...
I'm a little more scared about that. But I'll still do it sometimes. You're right. Like, I talk about the fact that if you want to be Christian, all you do is walk into a church like, save me, Jesus. But if you want to be Jewish, you can't walk into a synagogue like, save me money. You got to, like, take classes. You got to do all this stuff. And I said, but if you want to be a Muslim, you can just walk into a synagogue and be like, Allah Akbar. So... now that joke never works, so I don't do it. That works. Just because it doesn't work.
No, it works in Miami.
But that's my feeling about anything offensive. If it works to a broad palette of audience, then fucking use it. Because there's some offensive jokes that will always work.
Bro, last night I was doing mostly, Muslim Brotherhood show.
Oh, really?
That late night Thursday show. It was a lot. And I was talking about my Saudi Arabia trip, how we went, and it was pretty good.
Yeah.
So there was more. I pushed it, but they were cool. So
yeah.
I think everybody gets to jokes. But
yeah.
go ahead.
If you go into a comedy show,
love
and
in
you're
your heart.
Muslim or Jewish,
love in your heart.
Although I will say at the Laugh Factory, Faisal Lawrence went up one time and started talking about how the call to prayer.
I can't.
Were you there at that show?
I closed that show. And then I was like, what happened? He's like, a fucking jihad. Like, this was...
You are not real Muslim.
Tell the story. You, bro. Tell the story.
So we just started talking about, it's kind of a sort of like generic bit about how certain accents are funny and certain singing is sexy or whatever. And he said, yeah, but, Arab singing is not funny. The call to prayer, and he just does that. So to me, that's not really lampooning Muhammad or doing anything awful against Islam. It's just kind of saying the call to prayer isn't going to get the panties wet.
Yeah.
And this guy just stands up like, motherfucker, you are not the real Muslim. Fuck you. Curse you to Allah. Allah curse you. Fuck you are not real Muslim. And I was like, oh, and there's one guy. And then, so the security comes, and then another guy said, like, you're a fucking piece of shit. You will die.
Oh, God.
Just like crazy. Two guys, and the other guy was bigger. It was almost like he ate the first guy and just emerged. And, it was crazy.
Also from...
He's Muslim.
Yeah, okay.
Now he's an LA Muslim, so he does cocaine. I'm joking.
This is Valley Muslim. Listen, what's great is that you guys did that, and then there was like 2 other weird interactions, and I went to close it, and the audience was so stiff, and I'm like, what the fuck happened? And they told me, they was like, oh, there was almost a fucking jihad here. Like, these guys, apparently they asked them to leave, and then they were on the fucking... Here's what's great about the factory. These guys were like threatening crazy shit.
Yeah.
Like, we're on the street, apparently. And the factory's like, just keep going.
Yeah.
Just don't end the show. 2 drink minimum.
Yeah.
Right? Like, is that funny or what?
And they invited those guys back for the open mic.
So wait, how do we fix this?
This is what I'm saying. It's crazy. Because I feel like I could debate this with anybody.
Yeah.
It is, and look, I was on Mo this season. I love Mo Amr. I love Rama Youssef. I mean, these people gave me great jobs, and the woman Shireen who plays my wife, she's brilliant. She's Palestinian. She's huge. So I'm not someone who says I understand all the ins and outs, and I know that, and I do believe that that Israel could have been more responsible for what they did. Obviously, right? I don't think it's a full blown genocide like it's being propagated in some media, but I do think that Israel could act in better faith on some level, right? However, I also think it's an intractable problem that cannot be solved. And people just want to keep kicking the can down the road to the next administration and be like, just have them fight. And then like, oh, eventually those kids will calm down. They're not going to, okay? People who are radical Islam are not going to just give up the ghost. So I truly believe that when Trump said, why don't we just evacuate everyone and raise the ground and just rebuild it as a modern Dubai. Everyone's like, that's the craziest shit I've ever heard. I'm like, okay, what else you got? What else you got?
I do not hate that idea at all. So he's saying get everyone out.
Get everyone out because it's rubble mostly now. Yeah.
But
relocate them to the 22 million square miles of Muslim territory immediately around New Jersey-sized Israel.
But are they going to be allowed in there?
And then they can start rematriculating them back after they build it, based on
who pays.
Well, of course, it was like the Mexicans. No, they. I don't know. America, the UN, people, combined. I think that obviously the amount of private contractors that would be salivating for beachfront property, and it's one of those things. It's so crazy, it just might work. But people say if you evacuate them from their land in Gaza, that's genocide, and that's another colonization, it's another repopulation. And I understand that, but at the same time, like, otherwise, this is just going to keep happening.
So, but you're basically being a colonizer again.
Yeah, exactly.
But you're being a colonizer to put in like really good condos, right? Like you're trying to say we're going to make this modern Miami.
Indoor skiing. Come on, what's better than that? Yeah.
But where are they going to live for 10 years?
Yeah, I don't know.
Where do they live now?
Exactly. They live. I mean, the place is mostly a network of underground tunnels and terrorism chambers. It's not conducive to like communal living. It's just really not. And I think a lot of the people there, they feel like they're slaves to the situation. So I think that it is so crazy, it just might work. It's just one of those things. All I can say is, what else you got? Whoever else saying, what else you got? What else is there? What else is there? You were talking about 1,000-year-old fucking problem, minimum, that all of a sudden we're going to solve because of a little fucking treaty. You know how many treaties have been signed between Israel and Palestinians? And they never last. They never will. There's no. What's the incentive to make it last? Oh, we're all Arabs. We're all buddies. We're all Middle East. No, of course not. They hate Jews. Radicalism. I mean, it's just a fact. So, and I would say probably a lot of Jews feel the same way. So it goes back and forth. So if it's that intractable, what the fuck can you do? You have to make it like cut and dry and logistic. Because no one's going to give up their spiritual belief for the idea of a better world. That's not the point of it. Spiritual belief is the afterworld. It's what happens after. So who gives a shit what's happening? I'll live in rubble. I'll live in fucking shit and dead bodies because I have a belief system. And there's something that's beautiful about that. I mean, I don't believe in anything like that, So there's something I admire about that tenacity, but also, man, fuck. At the end of the day, like, you gotta be pragmatic. What the hell? What world do you want to live in with your beliefs? People go down with the ship with their beliefs.
It seems like that's what's happening in the world, dude.
Yeah.
More and more people just have beliefs and they can't be adjusted.
No.
There's comics that I love, and they're cool. Like, they laugh at me and laugh with me, but you get on a certain topic about politics and you can't move them.
Yeah. And
it's like, we subscribe to the funny first. Like, Sarah Silverman, that's what she always said. The joke comes first.
Yeah.
So it's weird. I don't know why people are so like that.
Yeah. I don't know. Because I think this is why I think.
It's sad. Like, I feel like like, people have unfriended me.
Yeah. I know, me too. And people probably unfriend me for what I'm about to say right now. So,
but they'll say you sympathize with a Nazi. There's no Nazis.
I know, it's ridiculous.
We're not Nazis.
But
are you a Nazi?
Of course not. So Cynthia Nixon, she's obviously a huge.
She's intense.
She's brilliant. She's intense. She's
intense.
Very pro-trans. And as she's trying to make her argument about like why trans people should be respected and given rights, which of course I don't think anyone's against that idea.
No, there are people.
Yeah, and fuck those people. No one's out there. But she goes,
guys like us,
trans people. My daughter's trans. Her girlfriend's trans. Their best friend's trans. Her mom's dad's. I'm like, what you're speaking to a social contagion. You're not speaking to the fact because you're in this crazy rich enclave of New York City, where these kids again are in a world of ponderance, in a world of no stakes, where they look at the existential angst of the world and they feel some sort of dysphoria, and that comes out in jet. Now, I'm not saying that everyone trans is fake trans or whatever the fuck it is, but if you cannot objectively look at what's happening for the past 5 years, if you can't look at that, particularly with girls transitioning to boys, particularly with this, because that shot up 2,000%. If you can't look at that and say there is some social factor in that happening, promulgated through social media or TikTok, whatever, if you can't go, that might be a possibility, then you are so fucking recalcitrant and your stupid fucking beliefs that someone should kick you square in the nuts.
If you have them, you might have lopped them off. What's recalcitrant mean?
Recalcitrant just means like they're not going to, but there's no way they're going to budge on this idea. So, and the reason is, and it makes sense, because Cynthia Nixon, who I believe is probably an amazing mother and her kids are probably happy, I have no judgment against them. And if they're trans or living their best life, that's for them. But if chopping your child's penis off or reversing the vajayjay and crafting a dick or whatever, if that is wrong, let's say if for some reason it is actually wrong, like it is wrong physically, it's wrong mentally, psychologically, it's a damaging thing, you could never admit that because you'd fucking kill yourself. Cynthia Nixon could ever admit that maybe something that happened with her friends and family was part of a social contagion. If she admitted that, she'd have to fucking...
Dude, stop. It's intense.
It isn't, but it's true. You have to believe in that thing so strongly.
So it's like, I don't want to say this, but it's like abortion.
Yeah.
Like, I'd rather you knock out one.
Yeah.
And because I was raised Catholic and I saw the videos.
Yeah.
Like, they put it in like 9th grade and it screwed me up. And my buddy, who was much more looser with it, was like, well, you have your own cult. Like, he was like, you know, and it fucked me up.
Yeah.
They did a good job.
Yeah.
They got me before my frontal cortex was done.
Yeah.
So, but I was raised in the 80s, and Madonna and Freddie Mercury and MTV, and it was like AIDS, abortion AIDS. So it's like everything was rubbers. So we were raised on like protected, which is good.
Yeah.
My whole friend group are paranoid dudes that, you know.
Yeah.
Not like you. You are, but you're not.
I have 2 kids out of wedlock.
Yeah, you're not really that friendly with a rubber, but we were always scared of that.
Yeah.
And I can't say this. How can I say? Like, if you have an abortion, that's an intense thing. We try to avoid it, right? Some people don't care. But when, like, I met a girl and she's like, well, I have my 4th abortion. It's like, and you justify that shit. And it's like, no. Because if you really connect to that, you will fucking cry for a year.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I mean, I know, I would say almost half the women that I care about, like they've had either a miscarriage or an abortion.
It's very common.
And it's intense. It is an intense thing.
For sure.
And you can't pretend that it's like Louis C.K. talks about. It's like, is it either like killing a baby or is it taking a shit? Because you got to look at it as a binary choice.
Mm-hmm.
It is either killing baby or you're taking a shit. Mm-hmm. It's either like, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
It's like just cells.
Yeah.
Or you're killing a baby. And like you say, it's probably killing a baby, which is okay though. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you gotta kill a baby.
Stop. It's just too much.
But Jamie, if you hooked up with a girl and she got pregnant and you had no connection and she didn't want the baby and you didn't want the baby and she was like, and she was on the fence.
No, listen, obviously these are fucking intense choices, but I have to say this.
Yeah.
I tell people I got my sperm tested.
Yeah.
Because I was going to store it and it really well. And it's strong and it's like swimmers or something with broken heads. I forget what they're called. There's ones that aren't. And there's like the good ones. The ones with like that, like good tails.
Yeah.
Knock on wood. Unless people didn't tell me, I've never had to do that.
Yeah.
I've never had that.
Yeah.
But I'm responsible.
Yeah.
I think. It doesn't mean it can't happen. I don't want it to happen.
Yeah.
But I am responsible, I think, when I have sex. And what's wrong with that? Why can't people be that way?
That's great. No,
but a lot of people aren't, dude.
Yeah.
And we look at it as like, well, my fucking choice. It's like, you don't have to be fucking wasted to hook up. I mean, you can just hook up normally. I don't know. I'm just saying a lot of people make choices that aren't great. But again,
of course,
it's not, I'm not a woman, so it's not my, I don't, they have to carry it to term. It's a whole thing. But obviously if I got that's another thing though. I don't, like, my whole thing on randos has changed, dude. It's like, it's a different world, dude.
My first daughter was like a one-night stand. And
that's
wild.
And
I found out she was 2. And she's amazing.
Yeah.
My second daughter, we'd been dating for 2 months, but it was also not expected because she was on the pill. Right? Allegedly.
Wow.
But again, my 3-year-old is like, who would I be without her? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like she fills me up and makes me understand love in a way that I haven't, you know, because I've been there since the delivery, you know. So it's hard to kind of look at that and be like, because of course the debate was like, what are we gonna do? Are we gonna keep it? You're gonna, you know.
Are men supposed to be monogamous? That sounds so idiotic.
Do you feel? Let me ask you a question. Let me counter it with this. Do you feel that it's easier to be monogamous now?
Yes.
As opposed to 20 years ago? Yeah.
It's weird. Because like I said, it wasn't easier then, but I was coming into my own and money.
Yeah, of course, dude.
WB fame and all this shit.
Of course.
And everyone was fun, dude. Like, fun. Like, we had parties and after parties, and
and it was casual.
Yeah, it was vodka, cranberry, Red Bull, peach schnapps. You know, it was the best.
People whipping their dicks out at the table for bottle service.
I mean, it's up to you to believe that, but you know what I mean. Like, these things might have happened, but everyone had fun.
Yeah.
It was nothing weird. It was just fun, and women were a part of it. And I still talk to these women, like they're cool.
Course. Yeah,
different things in life. And
you
know, you're there.
Yeah,
but now, well, it's older. I'm older, but it's also it's weird. There's never been more sex, but like you said that beautiful word of commodified, which is weird to me.
Yeah.
But I get it, though. If, like, guys are going to pump you and dump you, fuck off.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
Every once in a while, don't you find someone on Instagram? I came across this. I don't know how. I came across this woman the other day. Probably one of the most beautiful women I've ever seen on Instagram. I mean, just like from London, beautiful voice, just sexy, beautiful face. And she has like 1,200 followers. And her bio says something like, not going to do an OnlyFans or something like that. Like, everyone wants to be doing OnlyFans, not doing it.
Good for her.
And I'm looking, I'm like, do you realize how much money you could make doing OnlyFans?
That's his first DM.
You know?
Do you realize what you're leaving on the table?
Hey, you know, I could manage you, darling.
Yeah.
No, but I'm just thinking that, like, well, how much money could this woman could make $50,000 a month easily?
But what's your soul worth?
Exactly.
But here's the thing: is like what you're saying is it's a lot. No, it's not. It's much easier to be monogamous now because of, well, then we had Me Too. Here's me. You had Me Too. I mean, plus I got a chick, but like Me Too. Social media.
Yeah.
It was like, oh, I hooked up with Bill Dawes last night at the West Palm Improv. There wasn't even.
Oh my God, dude!
It's like that.
I got a story about that.
No one yaps,
dude. I got a story about that.
Yeah, it was just he hooked up and it was fun, and he gave tickets to her and her friend the next if they wanted to come. But wait, let me finish. And then there's Me Too. Then there's like to me the vax, and
of course,
and then the fucking all that shit. So it's fucking weird.
Yeah, and everyone's
plus
more
it's
isolated
energy,
now.
dude. I got weird. I got hippie because I do believe you get people's energy, and it's like.
Yes.
Women more. Unfortunately, you guys are the receivers, and if you take a bad dude inside of you, I actually think that's bad mojo.
Yeah,
like,
I agree. I agree.
But we can get it too. Go ahead.
Yeah.
You were gonna say West Palm struck a nerve.
No, I was gonna say. So, promoting shows, particularly now, live comedy is like a tougher sell than it used to be. Than it used to be.
Well,
maybe
when
like
it works, it works.
10 years ago. But I'm just saying, like, promoting a show.
Yeah, it's
like
a fucking hustle.
like you're a legacy comic. You're a famous comic. You're a great comic. I should put you on the show, and we should sell 50 tickets like that right away.
Mm-hmm.
But Monday 10 o'clock, it's a fucking hard sell.
Yeah,
have you on the marquee or not?
Yeah.
So of course I promote it, and of course verified accounts, attractive women, come bring your friends. Heart face, come bring your friends for free. Da da. Okay, cool. Put me on the list. Dumb. That's the end of conversation. But this woman's like, well, can I bring a friend? I'm like, of course, bring a friend, whoever wants. It's all cool. Hearty face, but like
on the list.
Do I have to pay for drinks? And I'm like, and meanwhile, I just want to move on because I'm just mass promoting.
Yeah.
And I go, oh, don't worry, darling, I'll take care of you with the drinks. You're all fine. Like heart, barefoot, whatever. And then she goes, awesome, I can't wait to come. I said, here's my number if there's a problem at the door. Like, you can't get in. No other comment. I don't comment on her looks. I don't want to hang out with her. I don't say, let's use my. Then she texts me that day and goes, "Oh my God, I'm so bummed. My friend can't make it. She had to cancel tonight." So I'm thinking she wants to come. She's texting me. I said, "Oh, okay. You want to just come as my date? Why you just Now I realize that's inelegant and it sounds a little creepy. I said, all right, so like, why don't you just come as my date, or like you can just come as my date or something like that.
Anal? Jesus.
But there wasn't like winkies and hearts and fucking.
Why did she have to come as your date? Why couldn't she just come?
Of course, it was an inelegant way of saying something, right? However, Jamie, is that a reason to go on a forum, a woman's only forum, and say, who the fuck is this guy? Look what this creep did. Do you know who he is? Is he dating? Is he a married man? I Googled Bill Dawes' wife. I bet you a lot of people Google Bill Dawes' wife because he's a creep and blah, 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 blah. And his material is sexist and offensive and racist. And blah. You know how many people see this woman's only forum? Girl I was dating at the time saw it.
Oh, no.
Now, I'm going...
Were you in exclusive dating?
Yeah. Now, I know...
you asked her to be a date. That's not good, Bill.
I recognize that.
You got your spot blown up.
But also, I'm talking about the fucking bare bones necessity of promoting a show. You act flirty. Hey, whatever you want. You get cool.
You're giving fucking freebies out.
Yeah, you're giving freebies
annoying,
out.
But
you know, it's annoying to do that. But like, and she's verified with like 40K followers. I'm like, hey, what a good fan base to get.
Verified what?
Hello. No, she's like a singer or something, right? So, and was that inappropriate to use the word date? Yeah, I didn't have a bunch of fucking emojis and winkies and I didn't say, let's hang out after. It was just that word. Now, is that enough to try to pillar me and try to create this pseudo Me Too situation because of that?
When did it happen?
And I never contacted her. I said, hey, if you want, let me know. All right, I said, like, let me know if you want to, if you change your mind, you want to come as my date, let me know, or something like that. That was the last thing I wrote, right? Never talked to her again. Didn't remember her name. A month later, this comes up on this woman's forum.
How many years ago?
This was last year.
Oh boy.
I mean,
first of all,
first of all,
here's your couple mistakes.
Yes.
Because you are kind of like always in pre-cum state. There's something about you. You kind of are, right? You're always at half mast, which is, you're a virile young man. You've been this way since I've known you. And you're ready to go. You know what I'm saying? The barista offers you an extra shot of espresso. What's up? And that's real. This is how men are, okay? You're a man. Getting the number, it's post 2017. Can't do that. Yeah. You gotta let them fucking offer. Then when you said date, bro, it's funny because you're not a creep. You're a good-looking guy. You're in shape. You've done very well with women. You're hilarious. I hate that they're going to throw that creep on you because you're not a creep, but you're just randy. If I could say that, the way to describe you is you're randy.
Oh my God.
Do you know what I'm saying? Like, you have a great show. You're all pumped up. Hey, want to go get a cup of coffee after? Nothing wrong with that. But you said date.
that
And that's
was
just
the
like,
word.
But there was no reason for it either.
If I said, hey, just, because
there's no reason for you to say, come as my date. Just
come as my guest. Come as my guest.
No, just come.
Come anyway.
Come anyway. There's no come.
I completely get that.
Yeah, dude, you said date.
Of course.
I don't think it's creepy, but I'm not a chick.
No, I get. Look, I'm not saying
she could have went like this. No, dude, I don't want to fucking date.
But is it enough to post on a public forum, doxing me, trying to say this is not married, not engaged, nothing like that?
How many people saw it?
Thousands.
And what were the comments like?
Well, I did have a couple of people who know me who defended me. It's women's only, so you can't even get on as a man. But the comments like, yeah, and I said to the girl I was dating at the time, I go, look, go around the comedy. I promise you, there's not going to be one sentence on that forum that's going to corroborate what she says.
Here's the thing, it's
because I don't hit on. I literally pathologically don't hit on women.
Dude, you can't hit on women.
I don't,
and you don't.
Yeah,
I mean, players don't, so you don't, and I mean. You know, you can't do it. You gotta let. But
you need to get 100 people at the Laugh Factory. We get our show canceled, so you gotta fucking.
But you should,
like, hey, let's
come
go.
Or come another time.
I get it.
Come as my friend. But is it worthy of you being doxxed?
Of course not.
No.
Even if I was married or engaged or living with a woman, it wouldn't be.
That's a problem. And so she's not coming to the show.
No, so she's not going to be there.
I I mean, didn't you have beef with someone else though? I don't talk about that. The thing with you is you don't have that. I don't think you have that. You don't have that rep.
No, I don't. But like, you can do the smallest thing. It's like people will they will look at you and they'll retrofit an idea about how you behave based on looking at you. You know how it is. Yes. Well, people look at me and they think I'm from some sort of. Now, have I benefited from white privilege? Of course.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Have I benefited from rich privilege? Fuck no. That was never been the story of my life.
Have you
I didn't go to Princeton because of my family money or my family name or my legacy. I went to Princeton on scholarship, okay? My family was fucking J.D. Vanstown, white trash. So I'm not like coming from this like crusty family. But people look at me and they think like, oh, you were the guy who was in the fraternity in college who short sheeted the guys at camp. Whatever the fuck it was. And that was never me, you know?
But have you come from center of the room, everyone looking at you privileged? Yes. But you've earned that. So it's like you're a successful comedian. So it's like, I don't know. It's not hard for you to get women.
Yeah.
But the thing is, you got to read those rooms because it's scary, right? Like that. I'm talking like the camera's not even on. Like it's wild now. Because the people want to. Ooh.
Oh, yeah.
That's what Dice said years ago. It was like, we live in a culture now. They're like, he did it. You know, it's not me. He did it. Like, it's true. It's like, in Heckler, he said that. And it's so brilliant because clout is a hell of a drug. And I don't know if she was, maybe she was generally felt uncomfortable. But the idea of putting. I'm saying that's not a great one. It's not a good example because it's, whatever. But I'm just saying is the fact that if you hook up with somebody and people talk about it, even if it's consensual and everything was fine, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
There's no privacy anymore.
No.
There's no privacy to hit on a girl and be like, come to be my date or you're fucking dead in this town.
Shouldn't I have the right to say that?
Why did you have to say the word date?
I'll be honest, it was so flippant. It was so just like, I was like going around doing that. Hey,
just come suck my dick.
But here's the thing. And anyone, like, I go to my show, I do my spot, and I leave. You're never going to see me hanging out at the bar at the Improv after. You're never going to see me hanging out at the Laugh Factory. I do my spot and I leave.
Bro.
I invite women, hey, come. Oh, I can't wait to see you. They come to the show, they show up, and I'm gone. I do my spot and I'm gone.
You're a ghost.
Yeah. So I was going to do that night, obviously. Because I was,
Oh, not if she was like, hey, want to hang out?
No, I wouldn't have. Because I wouldn't have stuck around. I was dating someone. I didn't.
Did your girl break up with you because of that?
Partially, yeah.
Yeah, fine. Yeah. Have you had bookings issues?
Bookings.
Did you have issues getting?
Oh, because of that?
Yeah.
No, I don't who knows? Who knows? I mean, it's possible that there are casting directors and people on that who see that and go, this guy.
No, but you work a lot.
Nah. Not since that post. Wait a minute.
Hey!
It's kind of true. No.
Dude, this is amazing. That's a good place to tell them your fucking socials, buddy.
So if you guys want to hate on me,
watch Bill. Go to his Instagram. Go to it.
It's at Bill Dawes, DAWES.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at. Yeah, that's it.
All right. Dude, you're awesome.
Thank you, man. It's good to see you again. I always like catching up.
Great to see you. I'm glad you're healthy.
Yeah.
You get right back to those.
I'm going to do my EKG right after this, see how my heart is.
Listen, guys, like, subscribe. We're growing. We love you. Peace.